Find Out season is unseasonably delicious this year. This was posted in the marriage free subreddit, and y'all are going to love this. He says, I told her from the start that I didn't want marriage or an ultimatum. We were happy for years. She listened to me. No ultimatum. She just walked away abruptly. He says, I guess she took what I said to heart. But still, I feel like this is unfair and I was owed more communication. Throwaway since she knows my main account. He says, we started dating 5 years ago. We met on a dating app before we officially met on our first date. I disclosed that I am not interested in either marriage or children and that I would not change my mind. I was very clear and direct. She said she wanted to get married eventually. My memory of it was that she also said she was fine with my decision to not be married. Apparently, she remembers saying, thank you for telling me. She brought up marriage once more early in dating. She brought up marriage once more early in dating. We both remember this, confirming I wouldn't be interested in marriage. I said something like, I want to make the choice to be with someone every day. I don't want to be trapped in marriage because it's inconvenient or costly to leave. I've seen too many people staying in marriages they only entertain because of ultimatums. That's just not love to me. And it was never discussed for 5 years. A friend or two mentioned it once or twice perhaps, but it was always something that was dismissed by the both of us. She also never mentioned it again, so I took her willingness to be with me as an acknowledgement and acceptance. Everything indicated we were on the same page, and that felt wonderful. I was being accepted for who I was and how I wanted to live my life. We traveled, said we loved each other, talked about plans for the future. We know each other's families and all their quirks quite intimately. We didn't live together because she lives right across from her workplace, but she was over all the time and has a key. We've had our ups and downs, but our downs were not that bad, and we resolved things through excellent communication. So I was caught off guard when I saw her waiting in my apartment for me on Tuesday, eyes puffy, curled up, watching Netflix, using the soft blanket that soft blanket I bought at Costco to set up my apartment for the first time. She came over years ago. She immediately offered the classic and trite, we need to talk line. She only had one bag with her. Typing this out, I realized she must have collected and packed her belongings for days or weeks beforehand to only leave with one bag. She told me she loved me, but she reached the point where she couldn't stay with someone just for love. She wanted to find someone to marry, and she didn't want to change me. She said that she didn't want to give me an ultimatum any more than I wanted to receive one. That left her with one option, to leave. She didn't want to get married to someone she had the pressure to marry her, and she never saw me proposing. I was angry, admittedly, out of frustration, when she was making her way out the door, refusing to answer my questions. I grabbed her wrist, trying to ask her to stay. I wasn't violent. I was just frustrated and wanted to continue the conversation. I wanted to explain that the decision not get married doesn't mean that I don't love her. I wanted to remind her of every moment I expressed love for her explicitly through word or action. Honestly, I wanted the chance to change her mind. If you love each other and you've been together this long, don't we both owe each other the opportunity to talk it out? She aggressively yanked her hand back and let out an exaggerated yelp. It seemed intentional to get the attention of the neighbors. I shouldn't have grabbed her hand, but I know I didn't hurt her. Almost like she was going out of her way to show that we no longer had that kind of familiarity with each other. Now I feel it isn't right for our last words to each other to have been shouting at me to let her go. I keep going back and forth on whether to reach out. I feel cheated, like she owes me more than the 50 words she used to end things. It was too abrupt. You don't do that to someone you spent 5 years with. Part of me thinks she should have given me time to change my mind, given me a heads up that the end was coming. There's got to be a way to communicate that. A compromise between an ultimatum and ending things in 60 seconds and clearing her stuff out while I was gone. But a pragmatic part of me acknowledges that there's nothing she could do to change my mind about marriage either. Maybe it's for the best to rip off the band aid. I'm not that guy. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make financial sense. It wouldn't make me love her any differently or better. It's just so goddamn frustrating that she let me believe she didn't need marriage. Ending things like this taints my memories of the entire relationship, like she was planning to leave the whole time. I'm going to put in the disclaimer that I recognize that some Reddits can be fake. I get it. But I still love this Find Out season story. It's juicy. It makes me happy regardless. I love it when people get what they ask for. This person in this said that he didn't want an ultimatum and he didn't want marriage. Now, honestly, I believe that two people should be on the same page in the beginning. Like, if you want marriage and the person that you are dating does not, don't put in a bunch of years only to get yourself frustrated that the other person will change. And if you know that don't try to change somebody's mind one way or another. This man was straightforward early on. I do not want marriage and I do not want you to give me an ultimatum. And she said, I bet. I don't know why you would stay with someone like that and it be in the back of your mind that you ultimately do, because like he said, regardless, you're going to leave. You're going to be frustrated with things not moving the way you wanted them to. So why even stay with somebody like this? I don't know. She did, but she up and left at this particular point. Used Armadillo says, honey, I mean this in the nicest way, but stop communicating with her or trying to. You're not going to change her mind. She communicated to you that it was over. She gave her reasons, even if they weren't what you wanted. Only time will bring you closure. Unfortunately for her, it was a deal breaker, and she clearly doesn't want to further discuss it. You are simply incompatible, nothing more. Also, if you're open to it, maybe try a therapist to help you sort this out and compartmentalize it. And the OP says, I haven't texted or called her. She asked me not to, and I'm doing my best to respect that. It's still raw, and the reality that she's gone is setting in more and more. It does feel so abrupt, though. We had plans for tomorrow to go to a concert. We have plans with 3 different sets of friends between now and December. We already negotiated that we'd go to my parents' on Christmas Eve and hers on Christmas Day. There was nothing wrong. We haven't had a fight or a disagreement in months. We started watching The Sopranos last week. Who commits to watching 6 seasons if they know that they're leaving? We had plans. It's out of character for her, and I'm just as bewildered as I am heartbroken. Ninja Squirrel Army says, women stop fighting when they have checked out. You didn't notice that she had been gathering her things and removing them for weeks? There were signs. You just didn't see them. I'm sorry you were caught off guard and that you're hurting. It'll get better. Slightly Crooked Nose says, I've ended things without a fight. I have been mulling it over for months, trying to stuff the thoughts down. It just came out during a normal conversation one night. Odette Swan says, to the part of I haven't texted or called her, she's asked me not to. Then she says, respect yourself, not her or that. Anti-Socialized says, I'm so impressed with her strength, bravery, and resolve. She respected your feelings without trying to change you and made the decision that she needed to for her own future. In turn, you need to respect her by leaving her be. In the future, you need to date people who are also firmly anti-marriage, not just settling for what you want. And with that, I'm going to leave it. That is blanket advice. Don't just settle, because eventually these feelings will come back. You'll be resentful that you settled. Find the person that is compatible with you. That's it. That's all. And that's on major things like kids, religion, if you're getting married or not. You have to find somebody that is on the same page with you. All right, y'all. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.